All right, quick video today. I have to film out in the world, so hopefully I sound okay. So basically, it is just a quick update. I have started to work on my nano project a little bit, and wow, it's giving me trouble. It's giving me so much trouble. Honestly, I've been stuck on the same scene for days, many days. It's like drawing blood from a stone out here. So I'm getting through it. I think if I focused, I could finish it tonight. The problem is the focusing. I have been noticing that I pay for that car to pass. I haven't been able to focus on writing until it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, which is bad, but that is what's happening. I don't know, it's just something I can't get my brain to quiet down and stop doing other things. Like, I've made several mods for Final Fantasy VII, but I have not written before 12 at all, before midnight at all. And I have not been able to focus for real on writing until 2 o'clock. And then I'm writing, and all of a sudden it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, I gotta stop writing, I gotta go to sleep. But like, it's like I gotta cut myself off, and that's not very productive. So that's kind of what's happening right now. I gotta like figure out a way to trick my brain into being productive. Because normally I could just watch like writing videos during the day and then get on writing streams, but I was on writing streams and still it's like I'm just staring at the work. And then all of a sudden I'm on Tumblr. Or I'm making mods for Final Fantasy VII. or or just doing not writing. I think the closest I got to doing writing stuff on a writing stream in recent days was going through all the scenes and making sure that the fonts are the same. Because if I make a scene on the iPad Scrivener, it defaults to Courier New, and the Scrivener file I created on the computer, all of those default to Sitka New. It looks nice. I've actually like decided that is the vibe I'm going for. It's not going to be like the final text, but like for drafting, that's my drafting font. So I went through and changed all the text from Courier to Sitka, or Sitka, I don't know how to pronounce that. And that was what I did. Yeah, I spent like 3 hours trying to get myself to write, gave up, and then I laid down, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to open up Scrivener. And I opened up Scrivener in my bed, and I'm writing, like, poking, because I have a keyboard for the iPad, but when I'm laying down, I'm laying on my side, and like, going through editing, I'm like, doot, which is not conductive to writing. So I find myself getting to a spot, I'm like, oh crap, I gotta save this for when I'm at the computer, and then it never happens. So that's where I am today. Also, one thing that's been messing me up a little bit is that I had to help my aunt with her taxes. I am productive at night, and she's sucking up my nighttime because of her freaking taxes. So there's that. Have I done my own taxes? No. Have I done like 3 years of her taxes? Yes. But, okay, let me like talk about where I'm stuck. So I think the problem here is that there's like a lot of mundane tasks that need to be done for the group to leave this one building. And I keep on getting stuck on those mundane tasks. I'm like, I can't write like, oh, they packed their clothes up. Oh, they did this. You can't put that in a book. That's freaking boring. But I'm also like, I should let it be known that this was done because in the previous scene section, they lost a lot of their things. So I'm like, okay, I gotta point out that like they only have like this and this and this. But how do I do that without being like a, you know what I mean? So that is tripping me up. Another thing that was tripping up was like, I have to have this one character start this conversation, and I had the conversation written, and then I had a blank spot, and then I had them getting out of bed, and I'm like, okay, how do I do this without it being in the laundry list of them getting ready and eating? I think I've gotten to a point where it's just a good balance, where it's like, okay, We know what they did. And the reason I need to address the fact that they ate is because they're also eating the last of their food. So it was a struggle, but I got to the conversation part that took like 4 days to do. I'm not joking. My brain just would not do it. But I did it. I did it. So now I'm going into another 4-day nightmare of like, okay, the conversation's over, mostly over. Then I gotta end the conversation and get them out of the building. And once again, it's a blank spot, and I know what happens at the end of the chapter. And I wrote the end of the chapter and just gotta fill that gap. And filling that gap is screwing me up. It's bad. And I feel like the next scene is gonna be super fun to write. But I gotta get there. I told myself that I'm not allowed to skip scenes in this nano project, because what happens with my main work in progress is that I skip scenes, and then when I went over it again, I was like, I messed it up because I didn't go linearly, and like it was going, and then I skipped a scene, but that scene was like here, and it was like when I filled it in like this, and it's taken me so long to get those scenes lined back up again. So I told myself I was not going to do it with this project. And unfortunately, the result of that is that I'm stalled up on one freaking scene for more than a week. On the plus side, I look back on my other scenes. Like I could read from the beginning all the way to where I am, and there's no plot holes, there's no issues. I'm hoping that through all this struggle, I will not have to do a massive rewrite like with my other project, because yeah. But it's definitely a struggle. Also, I have to admit that this story is a lot more straightforward than my other story. Like, basically, this story is they go out to a spot, they get stranded, and they gotta come back. At the heart of things, that is basically all it is. Whereas my main work in progress is like a psychological thing. They gotta figure out what happens. there's no actual journey. Like this nano project is an actual journey. It's a real journey. I still like it though. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this story when it's done. I definitely know that there is a second part of this because I wrote it like that. Like it's definitely not a standalone. My other work in progress could be a standalone. This one is definitely not. Which brings me to future plans for these things, because like I feel like they're not thematically related. Like the one is kind of magical realism, like very scant, but it's like a modern contemporary murder thriller kind of thing. I always hesitate calling it a murder thriller because, when you hear a murder thriller, you're like, oh, it's a murder mystery. You're trying to figure out who the murderer is. But in my case, you know who the murderer is. You know that. They're the main character. And then this story is straight up fantasy. Like old-timey fantasy with like actual magic and like magic systems and stuff. And it's like, would they go together? Like, should I be the same person when I query these if I ever do that? I'm getting ahead of myself, but that is something that I've been thinking about lately, and I have rambled because I just kind of turned the camera on and started talking, as opposed to when I'm at home, I type up little notes for myself, like little bullet points, then I could just go bullet to bullet to bullet to bullet, and someone's calling me now. So I gotta go. That's basically what I wanted to say anyway. See you next week. Bye.